Leadership is not about titles, positions, or authority. It's about impact, influence, and inspiration. Every great leader, from the boardroom to the battlefield, from business to personal life, shares a set of timeless core qualities that define who they are, and more importantly, how they lead. The first quality is clarity of vision. Effective leaders know exactly where they're going. They can see the destination long before others can. They have a clear mental picture of what success looks like. They can describe it in simple, vivid terms that ignite passion and commitment in those around them. People naturally follow leaders who know where they're headed. Without vision, there is confusion. With vision, there is direction. The second quality is courage, the willingness to take risks, to act in the face of uncertainty, and to make tough decisions when others hesitate. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means moving forward despite it. Every great achievement in history was born from someone who dared to step forward when others stood still. Courage is the spark that turns vision into reality. Next comes integrity. Integrity is the foundation of trust, and trust is the foundation of leadership. Without it, no amount of skill or charisma can hold a team together. People will forgive mistakes, but they will never forget deceit. A leader with integrity keeps promises, speaks truthfully, and acts consistently with their values. When words and actions align, confidence follows naturally. The fourth quality is humility. True leaders understand that leadership is not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about surrounding yourself with people who make you better. Humility allows a leader to listen, to learn, and to grow. It transforms leadership from command into collaboration. A humble leader earns respect not by demanding it, but by giving it first. Another key trait is emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and manage your own emotions while empathizing with others. Great leaders make people feel seen, heard, and valued. They inspire through connection. They know when to push, when to praise, and when to pause. They recognize that leadership is not about control, it's about influence, and influence begins with empathy. And then there is discipline. Leadership requires consistency. It's not about bursts of inspiration, it's about daily dedication. The best leaders do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. They model reliability, focus, and accountability. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results, between intention and achievement. Finally, effective leaders possess resilience. They get knocked down, but they don't stay down. They learn from setbacks, adapt to change, and rise stronger each time. Every challenge is a lesson. Every obstacle is an opportunity to grow. The greatest leaders are forged in the fires of adversity. They don't avoid pressure, they transform under it. When you combine these core qualities, vision, courage, integrity, humility, emotional intelligence, discipline, and resilience, you create the kind of leader who not only achieves success but multiplies it in others. Because the true measure of leadership is not how far you go, but how far you take others with you. Leadership begins with one powerful decision, the decision to lead yourself first. When you commit to mastering these qualities, you don't just become a better leader. You become a catalyst for change, a source of inspiration, and a force for good. Remember, the world doesn't need more bosses. It needs more leaders, leaders who lead with heart, purpose, and character. So, start today. See the vision clearly. Act with courage. Live with integrity. Stay humble. Connect deeply. Work with discipline. Rise with resilience. If you embody these qualities, you don't just lead, you transform lives. And that is the ultimate mark of an effective leader. Vision is the foundation of leadership. It is the invisible force that gives direction, purpose, and meaning to every action a leader takes. Without vision, even the most talented and hard-working teams wander aimlessly. But when a leader possesses a clear and compelling vision, it acts like a magnetic north, pulling everyone together toward a shared goal, inspiring effort and creating unity of purpose. Great leaders are not just thinkers, they are seers. They can look beyond the present chaos and uncertainty to see what could be, what should be, and what must be achieved. Every great achievement begins in the mind of a leader who dares to imagine a better future. This ability to visualize possibilities is what separates ordinary managers from extraordinary leaders. Managers work with what is. Leaders focus on what could be. They see opportunities where others see obstacles. They dream in vivid detail, creating mental pictures so real and persuasive that others can feel them too. When Steve Jobs spoke about putting 1,000 songs in your pocket, he wasn't just selling a product. He was painting a vision of convenience, beauty, and innovation that captured the imagination of millions. That is the power of vision, when people can see in their mind's eye the world you're inviting them to build. But having a vision is not enough. It must be clear. Clarity gives direction, and direction creates confidence. A vague or fuzzy vision confuses people. A clear one energizes them. A leader with clarity doesn't just say, "We need to grow." They say, "We will become the #1 provider of this solution in our market within 3 years by serving our customers better than anyone else." This level of specificity transforms wishful thinking into a concrete mission. It helps people measure progress and understand their role in the bigger picture. An effective leader communicates their vision constantly, passionately, and convincingly. They understand that repetition is the mother of belief. Every conversation, every meeting, every action must reinforce the vision. People don't follow words, they follow conviction. When a leader speaks about their vision with genuine emotion and unwavering confidence, others begin to believe it too. The leader's energy becomes contagious. It moves people from passive agreement to active engagement. A powerful vision also has an emotional core. It appeals not only to the intellect, but to the heart. People want to be part of something meaningful, something bigger than themselves. A leader's vision should make people feel that their work matters, that they are contributing to a purpose that will outlive their daily tasks. It transforms effort into passion and routine into mission. This emotional connection is what turns ordinary followers into devoted believers. However, vision without action is hallucination. Great leaders back their vision with concrete plans, strategies, and persistence. They translate their dreams into steps and steps into results. They understand that every vision must be supported by practical execution. But they also recognize that plans can change. Vision should remain steadfast even when methods evolve. It is the compass, not the map. Finally, a true leader's vision is not self-centered. It's not about personal fame, wealth, or power. It's about creating value for others, employees, customers, communities, even the world. The greatest visions are those that serve humanity, that make lives better, richer, and more meaningful. When people see that your vision serves something beyond your own interests, they commit to it with their hearts, not just their hands. Leadership begins with vision. It is the light in the dark, the voice that says, "This is where we're going, and this is why it matters." Every great movement, every successful company, every lasting legacy began with a leader who could see the invisible and inspire others to make it visible. Vision creates direction, and direction creates destiny. Courage is the heartbeat of leadership. It is the invisible strength that allows leaders to step forward when others step back, to make decisions when others hesitate, and to take responsibility when others look for someone to blame. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is mastery over it. Every leader feels fear. Fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of the unknown. But effective leaders act despite it. They understand that progress is never made in comfort zones. Growth begins where fear begins, and courage is the bridge that takes you there. The world is full of talented, intelligent people who never reach their potential simply because they lack courage. They wait for perfect conditions, for absolute certainty, for someone else to lead the way. True leaders know that perfect conditions never exist. They make decisions with the information they have, trusting their judgment and intuition. They move forward, knowing that action creates clarity. Every great leader, from explorers to entrepreneurs, has faced moments of deep uncertainty, yet they pressed on because they believed in something larger than their fear. Courage in leadership shows itself in many forms. It is the courage to stand up for what is right, even when it is unpopular. It is the courage to speak truth to power, to make difficult choices that may not please everyone but serve the greater good. It is the courage to admit mistakes openly and take full responsibility rather than shifting blame. It is also the courage to innovate, to take calculated risks, and to venture into new territories where failure is possible, but greatness is achievable. Without this kind of courage, organizations stagnate, and people lose faith in their leaders. A courageous leader does not seek safety in approval. They seek strength in conviction. They are willing to take the road less traveled if it leads to integrity and progress. History remembers leaders not for playing it safe, but for daring to do what others thought impossible. Martin Luther King Jr., Winston Churchill, Nelson Mandela, each of them faced overwhelming resistance, uncertainty, and danger. Yet their courage reshaped nations and inspired generations. Their actions remind us that leadership is not about comfort, it's about conviction. Courage also means having the strength to confront yourself. Many people can face external challenges, but few have the bravery to look inward, to confront their weaknesses, fears, and insecurities. Great leaders have the courage to grow, to accept feedback, to change their habits, and to evolve as individuals. They understand that personal growth is the foundation of leadership growth. Without self-courage, there can be no self-improvement. Leadership demands the courage to make hard decisions that may not have immediate rewards. Sometimes it means letting go of people who don't fit the vision, changing directions when something isn't working, or standing firm when pressure mounts to compromise values. These moments define a leader's character. It's easy to be courageous when the outcome is certain and support is guaranteed. True courage shines when the future is unclear and the stakes are high. Courage is contagious. When a leader shows bravery, it empowers others to do the same. A single act of courage from a leader can ignite confidence in an entire team. It signals that it's safe to speak up, to take risks, and to innovate. People naturally follow leaders who make them feel braver. They draw strength from their leaders' calmness in chaos and their resolve in adversity. This emotional ripple effect is what transforms ordinary groups into high-performing teams. At its core, courage in leadership is about choosing purpose over comfort and principle over popularity. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when the outcome is uncertain. It requires trusting your inner compass and having faith that the path you've chosen, no matter how rough, leads to something worthwhile. Courage gives life to vision, direction to passion, and meaning to struggle. It's what allows leaders to stand tall in storms, to make bold decisions when the world hesitates, and to inspire others to believe that even in the face of fear, forward is the only way to go. Integrity is the cornerstone of leadership. It is the single most important quality that defines the character, credibility, and trustworthiness of a leader. Without integrity, leadership crumbles, no matter how talented, charismatic, or intelligent a person may be. Integrity is doing what's right, not what's easy. It's keeping your word when no one is watching, standing by your principles when it's inconvenient, and remaining honest even when dishonesty might seem more profitable. It is the moral compass that guides every decision and every action, ensuring that a leader's success is built on a foundation of trust rather than manipulation or deceit. True integrity is not about words. It's about consistency between what a leader says and what they do. People quickly recognize when there is a gap between a leader's promises and their actions. Words may inspire in the short term, but actions inspire loyalty in the long term. When people see a leader who keeps their commitments, who delivers on their promises, and who treats others fairly regardless of position or power, they develop deep respect. This respect evolves into trust, and trust is the currency of leadership. Without it, followers disengage, morale weakens, and credibility evaporates. Integrity also means having the courage to tell the truth, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Great leaders don't hide behind excuses or sugarcoat reality. They face problems head-on with honesty and transparency. When mistakes happen, they own them. When challenges arise, they communicate openly. This level of honesty creates a culture of accountability where people feel safe to be truthful themselves. It eliminates fear and builds unity because everyone knows the leader's intentions are pure. People will forgive errors in judgment, but they will not forgive betrayal or deceit. One of the most powerful aspects of integrity is fairness. A leader with integrity treats everyone with respect, regardless of status or background. They do not play favorites or manipulate situations for personal gain. They lead with impartiality and justice, ensuring that every decision aligns with ethical standards and organizational values. This fairness strengthens relationships and fosters a spirit of cooperation. People work harder for leaders they trust to treat them right. Integrity is also reflected in how a leader handles power. Power has a way of revealing true character. Many people change when given authority. They become arrogant, controlling, or self-serving. Leaders with integrity remain grounded. They use their influence to uplift others, not to dominate them. They understand that leadership is not about privilege. It's about responsibility. Every decision they make is guided by the question, is this the right thing to do? Rather than, is this the easiest thing to do? Leaders with integrity understand that trust is earned slowly, but lost instantly. One lie, one broken promise, or one act of hypocrisy can destroy years of credibility. That's why they guard their reputation carefully, not through image management, but through genuine character. They know that true integrity doesn't need to be advertised. It is revealed naturally in how they lead, speak, and behave every day. In organizations led by people of integrity, the culture becomes stronger, more positive, and more productive. Employees feel valued and secure, knowing that their leader stands for something real. Clients and partners develop lasting relationships because they know that honesty, not exploitation, drives the business. Integrity becomes the silent force that attracts opportunity, loyalty, and respect. But perhaps the most powerful thing about integrity is that it inspires others to do the same. When people see their leader living by strong principles, they begin to mirror that behavior. Integrity creates a ripple effect. It spreads through teams, departments, and entire organizations, shaping an environment where ethics and excellence coexist. Integrity, at its core, is leadership in its purest form. It requires courage, humility, and unwavering commitment to truth. It means doing the right thing every time, even when it costs you something. It means standing firm in your values when others bend to pressure. A leader's words can motivate, their skills can impress, but their integrity earns trust, and that trust is what makes people willingly follow them through every challenge, every change, and every victory. Humility is one of the most misunderstood yet powerful qualities of true leadership. Many people mistake humility for weakness or a lack of confidence, but in reality, it is the highest expression of strength. Humility is not about thinking less of yourself. It is about thinking of yourself less. It's the quiet confidence that allows a leader to acknowledge the contributions of others, to listen with an open mind, and to continuously learn and grow. A humble leader doesn't seek attention or validation. They seek progress, understanding that leadership is not about being in charge, but about taking care of those in their charge. Humility allows a leader to recognize that they do not have all the answers. In a rapidly changing world, no one does. A humble leader values collaboration over control and learning over ego. They create an environment where people feel safe to share ideas, challenge assumptions, and take ownership. They understand that wisdom is not found in one mind, but in the collective intelligence of many. This mindset transforms teams from groups of followers into communities of thinkers and problem solvers. When people feel their voices matter, they contribute with passion and creativity, driving innovation and excellence. A humble leader listens deeply. They don't listen to respond, they listen to understand. They know that listening is one of the greatest forms of respect, and through it, they build trust and loyalty. By giving others the space to speak and feel heard, they uncover insights and perspectives that would otherwise remain hidden. This kind of listening doesn't just strengthen relationships, it strengthens results. People are far more likely to commit to a vision when they feel they had a hand in shaping it. Humility also gives leaders the strength to admit when they are wrong. Arrogant leaders claim to being right, humble leaders claim to doing what's right. They are not afraid to say, "I made a mistake," or "I don't know. Let's find out." This honesty earns respect because it demonstrates authenticity. People can forgive imperfection, but they struggle to follow someone who pretends to be flawless. When a leader admits their own errors, it encourages others to take accountability without fear. The entire culture becomes more transparent, open, and growth-oriented. Another sign of humility in leadership is the willingness to give credit to others. True leaders celebrate the success of their teams rather than using them as a stepping stone for personal glory. They understand that leadership is not about being the star, it's about building stars around you. They highlight others' achievements, mentor emerging talent, and take pride in seeing their people rise. This generosity of spirit creates an environment of gratitude and respect where everyone feels valued. Humility also protects leaders from one of the greatest dangers of success, complacency. The moment a leader believes they have nothing left to learn, their growth stops, and so does the growth of those around them. Humble leaders remain students of life. They read, they ask questions, they seek feedback, and they stay curious. They know that every person, no matter their position or background, can teach them something valuable. This hunger for learning keeps them sharp, adaptable, and wise. At its core, humility is what keeps leadership human. It replaces arrogance with empathy, authority with approachability, and pride with purpose. When leaders operate from humility, they create authentic connections with people. Their influence doesn't come from fear or force. It comes from respect and admiration. People follow them not because they have to, but because they want to. In the end, humility is not a soft skill, it is a superpower. It allows leaders to build stronger teams, make wiser decisions, and sustain long-term success. It reminds them that leadership is not about standing above others, but standing beside them. The humble leader lifts others higher, listens more than they speak, and leads not with ego, but with empathy. And that is the kind of leadership that not only achieves great results, but leaves a legacy of trust, respect, and inspiration that endures long after the leader is gone. Discipline is the backbone of leadership. It is the steady force that transforms vision into action, goals into results, and potential into performance. While talent and passion can ignite success, only discipline can sustain it. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It is the ability to remain consistent in behavior, focused in effort, and committed to excellence, regardless of the circumstances. A leader's discipline sets the tone for the entire organization because people don't follow instructions, they follow example. A disciplined leader begins with self-mastery. They understand that before leading others, they must first lead themselves. This means controlling impulses, managing time wisely, and maintaining emotional stability under pressure. Leaders with discipline don't allow temporary emotions to dictate permanent decisions. They operate based on principles and priorities, not moods or convenience. They show up on time, follow through on commitments, and hold themselves to the same or even higher standards than they expect from their team. Their consistency builds credibility, and their reliability earns respect. Discipline also means maintaining focus amid distraction. In a world filled with constant noise, opportunities, and temptations, the ability to concentrate on what truly matters has become a rare and valuable skill. Great leaders resist the pull of trivial pursuits and keep their attention fixed on the mission. They understand that saying yes to one thing means saying no to many others. They prioritize ruthlessly, ensuring that their energy is invested in activities that create real impact. This focus allows them to make steady progress toward their vision, even when progress feels slow or difficult. Another aspect of discipline is perseverance. Success rarely comes quickly or easily. There will always be setbacks, obstacles, and moments of frustration. The difference between winners and quitters lies in discipline, the determination to keep going when motivation fades. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is enduring. It is the inner resolve that pushes a leader to finish what they started, to keep showing up, to learn from failure, and to never lose sight of the bigger picture. Each day of consistent effort compounds into extraordinary results over time. Discipline also extends to maintaining standards of excellence. Leaders with discipline never settle for mediocrity. They demand quality in their work, their decisions, and their behavior. They don't cut corners or look for shortcuts because they know that excellence is not an act, it's a habit. By holding themselves and their teams accountable to high standards, they create a culture of pride and professionalism. People naturally rise to the level of expectation set by their leader. When discipline becomes a shared value, performance becomes a shared achievement. Equally important, discipline is about balance. It's not just about working harder. It's about working smarter and maintaining control over one's life. Disciplined leaders know when to push and when to rest, when to speak and when to listen, when to act and when to pause. This balance keeps them sharp, composed, and mentally strong. They recognize that sustained success requires not just intensity, but endurance. In decision-making, discipline plays a crucial role. A disciplined leader doesn't make impulsive choices or chase short-term rewards. They think long-term, evaluating every option through the lens of their mission and values. They avoid distractions disguised as opportunities and resist the urge for instant gratification. This patience and restraint allow them to make wiser decisions that produce lasting success rather than temporary gains. Ultimately, discipline in leadership is what transforms good intentions into tangible outcomes. It is the invisible power that turns promises into proof. When followers see a leader who consistently walks the talk, who works hard, stays organized, and holds firm to commitments, they feel inspired to do the same. Discipline creates reliability, and reliability builds trust. A disciplined leader doesn't rely on luck or inspiration. They rely on habits and principles. They understand that every small action compounds into greatness. They know that leadership is not about doing extraordinary things once, but about doing ordinary things with extraordinary consistency. Discipline is the quiet strength that keeps leaders moving forward through uncertainty, fatigue, and doubt. It is what separates those who start strong from those who finish strong. And ultimately, it is what turns leadership from potential into legacy. Resilience is the defining trait that separates great leaders from the rest. It is the inner strength that allows them to rise after every fall, to stay calm in chaos, and to continue leading when the pressure feels unbearable. Every leader faces moments of doubt, failure, and adversity. What distinguishes the effective ones is not the absence of difficulty, but their response to it. Resilience is the ability to absorb shocks, adapt to change, and emerge stronger than before. It is not just about surviving challenges. It is about transforming them into opportunities for growth and progress. Life and leadership are full of uncertainty. Plans fail, people disappoint, markets shift, and crises appear without warning. A resilient leader accepts that struggle is part of the journey. They don't waste energy complaining about what went wrong. They focus on what can be done next. They understand that setbacks are not signs of weakness or fate's punishment. They are tests of endurance and adaptability. Every challenge becomes a teacher, every failure a lesson. Through this mindset, they turn adversity into a powerful training ground for wisdom and strength. Resilience begins with mental toughness. It is the capacity to control one's emotions, thoughts, and reactions when faced with stress or disappointment. Resilient leaders don't allow panic to cloud their judgment or negativity to infect their decisions. They remain composed under pressure, maintaining clarity when others lose perspective. This calmness doesn't come from ignoring difficulties, but from trusting their ability to handle them. It sends a powerful message to those around them. If the leader can stay steady in the storm, others can too. At the heart of resilience lies optimism. Not blind positivity, but a deep belief that solutions exist and that the future holds possibilities worth striving for. Resilient leaders choose hope over despair. They don't deny reality. They face it head-on while keeping faith that effort and persistence will eventually lead to better outcomes. This mindset fuels perseverance, creativity, and courage. It inspires teams to stay motivated even when the odds seem against them. People naturally draw strength from leaders who radiate calm confidence and unshakable hope. Another key element of resilience is adaptability. Change is inevitable, and the world rarely unfolds according to plan. Resilient leaders are flexible thinkers. They adjust strategies without abandoning their principles. They see change not as a threat, but as a chance to evolve. When one path closes, they find another. This adaptability keeps organizations alive, agile, and forward-moving. A leader who resists change will eventually break under its weight, but one who embraces it will use it as a source of renewal and innovation. Resilience is also built on self-awareness and self-care. A leader who neglects their physical and emotional well-being cannot lead effectively for long. Resilient leaders know when to pause, rest, and recharge. They maintain healthy routines, exercise, reflection, quality time with loved ones, because they understand that strength is not just mental, it's holistic. Taking care of oneself is not selfish, it's strategic. It allows leaders to sustain their energy and clarity through prolonged challenges. Resilience thrives in perspective. Great leaders understand that setbacks are temporary and failures do not define them. They look at every obstacle through the lens of the bigger picture. When things go wrong, they ask, "What can I learn from this?" rather than, "Why did this happen to me?" This shift in thinking turns pain into progress. Over time, these experiences shape them into wiser, more grounded, and more empathetic leaders. Finally, resilience is contagious. When a leader stands firm through adversity, their courage and persistence inspire the entire team. People mirror the emotional tone of their leader. If the leader stays calm, hopeful, and determined, others follow suit. This collective resilience becomes an organization's greatest asset during crises. It fuels teamwork, creativity, and collective belief in success despite setbacks. In every great story of leadership, resilience is the silent force driving it forward. It is what keeps leaders standing when others fall, focused when others give up, and optimistic when the path ahead seems dark. Resilient leaders don't just endure challenges, they grow through them. They understand that storms are not meant to destroy them, but to reveal their strength. And through every trial, they become the living proof that no obstacle is permanent, no failure is final, and no challenge is too great for a leader who refuses to give up. Leadership is not a title, it's a responsibility, a mindset, and a daily practice. The true power of leadership lies not in commanding others, but in inspiring them. When we look at the world's most respected and impactful leaders, we see a pattern of timeless qualities: vision, courage, integrity, humility, discipline, and resilience. These are not traits we're born with. They are choices we make every day. Each quality strengthens the other, forming the foundation of leadership that endures through challenges, change, and time. Vision gives us direction. Courage drives us forward. Integrity earns us trust. Humility keeps us grounded. Discipline ensures consistency. And resilience helps us rise again after every fall. Together, they create leaders who don't just achieve success, but elevate everyone around them. Such leaders ignite belief, build unity, and shape a future that others only dream about. The measure of an effective leader is not how high they climb, but how many they bring up with them. It's not about personal glory, it's about collective growth. The world today doesn't need louder voices. It needs stronger examples. Leaders who lead not from pride, but from purpose. Leaders who turn adversity into strength and vision into reality. So, as you walk away today, remember this: leadership begins within. You don't need a position to lead. You need conviction. Lead yourself with clarity, act with courage, live with integrity, stay humble, remain disciplined, and never stop being resilient. Because when you embody these qualities, you don't just change your life, you change the lives of everyone who follows your example. That is the essence of true leadership, and that is the legacy worth leaving. Thank you.